Good afternoon, folks. We are back with a very special episode of Blood, Sweat, and Beers covering the U.S. Open Cup. Round 2 just wrapped this week. I am Dennis, DBG Vice President, here with President Marcus.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So what games did you watch this week?
So round 2, U.S. Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, which is a mouthful. Hopefully we get a sponsor soon at some point, but for now. Because I work from home, so I basically saw all of them. I had 2 screens up all night. We got to talk about the derby of all derbies, the best game played in America for at least since the season started. Chattanooga versus Chattanooga. There is nothing but bad blood there.
Let me stop you right there real quick because I have some friends in that area and they make sure I get it right all the time. It's Chattanooga. You can't leave off that middle A. You can't just run over it. I get yelled at for it. It's Chattanooga. No, it's Chattanooga.
No, Chattanooga. Chattanooga. My country tone is a little gone at this point. I sound more, East Coast than anything else. But the Chattanooga CFC versus the Red Wolves, bad blood. This is early, I guess not early soccer wars, but this is a result of the soccer wars. Chattanooga FC was the professional team there. They played with NASL. Them and Detroit had a good run there for a while. We thought they were next up. Then NSAL went out of business. Everyone thought they would go to USL. That didn't work out. Now here comes a billionaire. Usually this is the MLS issue, but they came in, built a stadium on the outskirts of town and tried to take over. That left Chattanooga FC to go to MLS Next Pro, which I'm not sure is what they wanted to do, but what else are you going to do? Now, attendance, stadium was packed, not quite a record, just shy of 13,000. The game was absolutely nuts. Free kicks early on, then it was a slugfest. And yeah, I loved every minute of it. I love the end, penalty kicks, and then trying to plant the flag, and the fight almost broke out. This is why I think we need to get rid of territory rights, because that's how you get derbies. Like Kansas City and St. Louis are close, but it's not as close as we're in the same city type. And I love that for sure. Going down the rest of it, Portland.
So real quick.
Yeah.
I'll say the same thing about this game. First of all, Chattanooga is an excellent city. My industry has a big convention there. My thumbs up thing. My industry has a big convention every year. I work in towing and roadside industry. Chattanooga is the actual birthplace of the tow truck too. Fun fact about Chattanooga: it's also the home to the International Towing and Recovery Hall of Fame and Museum. So great fun fact there. But it's a great town. It's a great place to be. But I will say this, and this is the same thing I said last year when this was happening across the college football universe. If you don't want a flag planted on your field, win the damn game.
Nah, you can't come to my home and do that. You saw T.O. tried to do that.
Win the game.
Cowboy star. Penalty kicks are penalty kicks. It's 50-50. But that being said, it was the best show on turf this weekend. I think we can all say that. There's nothing like lower division soccer football. 2 communities. To be honest, if they can drop it, they need. The thing is, while watching it, all you could see in the comments section, besides the hate, is, hey, they need to be in the same league because we need this twice a year, right? I don't know how. If I'm USL, I'm on the phone like, hey, how do we get you here? Whatever's the buyout fee, we got to make it work, because that is how you build rivalries. Absolutely. We had the Miami. Yeah, we had the Miami derby, which really wasn't a derby, but it was actually the highest rated on YouTube, because I think people just saw Inter Miami and didn't read the rest of it. But who cares?
Notice that little 2 at the end.
Yeah. We'll just ignore that. And then the underdogs of underdogs winning the $50,000 prize for the highest open division, the Burrito Boys once again.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome, man.
El Farolito rolls on, and they did it in amazing fashion too. That was one of the games that I was able to watch in full, start to finish, and man, that was a hard fought battle by both of those teams. Monterey Bay, they were in attack and they were coming at Farolito pretty well, and Farolito held on, and they came back from down 1-0 to win that, and they won it late, right? So
Yep.
it was an exciting game all the way through, and man, you love to see stuff like that. You love to see an amateur club just come up and just cup set everywhere they go, and they've got a reputation now, and they'll be back on the road in San Francisco. So that's gonna be fun. It's it's hopefully they get about a lot of their fans to come out. It's gonna be local for them.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. soccer is doing a good job of regionalizing it for the most part. I don't think going forward they're going to do that because now we're at the professional ranks, so people should be able to afford travel.
Well, we'll cut over to the full draw, but if you look at the draw came out yesterday afternoon, it does look like they did regionalize it as best they could again. There are some long distance travels again, but for the most part, it's not to get too far down the road here, but Portland's playing in Hartford. Oh no,
Yeah,
Portland just played Hartford rather, but they're going to be going on the road local again. You got Columbus at Pittsburgh. A lot of this stuff going on. So
yeah, I mean, you have Las Vegas for Chattanooga. That's a long trip. Yeah, you're right. New Mexico, El Paso, that's a short drive. Oklahoma, Phoenix, that's a little further away. But yeah, no, it was pretty awesome, man. Portland Hearts of Pine in Maine, not Oregon.
up the Hearts.
Yeah, man, they're selling it. I mean, it's a high school stadium in a small state, so it's not, they're doing 2,300, 3,000 seats, and they're actually hosting again. I don't know how that worked out. But that team first season in, I'm hoping they're doing a mini doc or something. They got to record all this for posterity, man. It's pretty beautiful.
They haven't lost a game yet.
Yeah, I don't even think they've played a home game in the league yet, right? They've played 2 home games in Open Cup, but I don't think they've actually hosted at home. I think that comes this week.
That was another one that went to PKs, and that was another hard-fought battle, but the Hearts came out solid at the end, and that was again hard-fought. The regional battle between two clubs that play not too far from each other. Just exciting football.
No, I love it, man. Like I said, lower division. This is what we need more of. Like the Burrito Boys is one of those stories where, like, hey, if I'm a local business owner, maybe I move them up to USL 1, right? Right now they play in NPSL, which is basically, upper amateur, right? They're professionalized. I mean, the announcer was like, well, over the long season, they wouldn't be able to last. I'm like, well, they play 10 games, right? It's not like there's a schedule. They have to travel. They won the NPSL championship either last year, and they had to travel to the East Coast for that game, and they won. So they're professional in their operation, if not in the payment of the players. But yeah, that's the type of amateur team. You're like, hey, if you can find in your city, in your county, if you can find a city school district or something that can partner with them, and then a business owner, that's how we spread the game, right? It can't be top down, right? Not every community wants a minor league baseball team. Some of them want, something that they can cheer for on their own. But let's go down the scores here. I'm on Google. So we have the Crew SC, which I think is the only MLS Next Pro team to have won this round, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
And so this is Columbus 2's first foray into the Open Cup, and they are now 3-0 in Open Cup competition.
I was actually expecting better from Lexington. That went out of hand early, and to be honest, I don't know if they were tired. Also, how is everything about your team green and then your third kit is an orange that I don't get whatsoever? It's a nice kit. It just doesn't fit your aesthetic in any way.
Something I actually really like that Lexington does. Lexington's men's and women's clubs have the same branding. They have the same crest, the same logo, similar kits. And so the Trinity will be heading to Lexington this weekend. They'll be playing there Sunday.
Yeah, and I think that's how USL side note, that's how USL Super League I think is going to expand, is by getting, hey, if you join in, right, we won't charge you an additional fee if you have a women's team. And it's not, I don't know if the cost is so prohibitive that you can't do that, right? So I think that's actually how they plan on expanding. I think USL Super League is getting 2 teams next year. So yeah, that should be pretty awesome. We had the local boys furrow went out to South Georgia, and they fought back. but didn't quite have enough. They lost 3-2. That was a pretty good game. South Georgia has, I think they had. It's weird seeing that stadium because it's just a soccer field with some temporary stands in the middle of nowhere with dirt all around it. So maybe they plan on growing at some point. But yeah, that was an interesting setup for sure.
So say Poro
We
was used to
obviously had the
playing on
Miami
bigger fields
Derby playing
here.
in an empty Chase Stadium, which is oh, facts. Yeah. Any high school stadium in North Texas is probably better than whatever they had out there. But again, I'm all for owning owning or managing or being the main person for your stadium. So even if that's what you could get your city to do, then we'll rock with that. Miami FC, which is terrible, has been a terrible run of form. They were the worst team in championship last year, and
I didn't
this
get to see much
year
of that one.
they still haven't won a game. It was into Miami. You could tell better, but it's a bunch of U19s playing against again grown men, which are going to find a way to make it work, and they did on a corner kick flick in between the defenders and goalkeeper's legs and in the back of the net. And at that point, it was a wrap. They just parked the bus and they made it work. I don't know where they travel to. They go to Indy. Ooh, that's a distance. Yeah, they go to Indy next game in Indy. I don't think they win that game. I think Indy takes over for that for sure. Then we have the North Carolina Charlotte Independence.
That was a battle. I watched a good chunk of that game, and that was just a slugfest. Those are just two teams that were just battling back and forth, just beating up on each other. It was a physical game, a lot of goals, a lot of shots, and that one was a lot of fun to watch. And fun fact about the home side there was Charlotte Independence. They also used the same goal song that Charlotte FC uses, which they actually stole from the New York Mets closer walkout music. They play the Pavos horns.
Oh my goodness, that sounds about right. Charlotte Independence. I'm hoping. The only thing that can save them at this point is Michael Jordan investing, which I mean, I would try to make that happen, or J. Cole or something. You got to get. They have their own stadium. It's a historic stadium in a good location, but they're competing with MLS, and that's one of the things like you have to give the city a reason to care. So this is where celebrity ownership can help, even if it's one of those like we'll give the share to you, we'll give you 2% just for you to show up and promote it type joint. But yeah, Charlotte Independence is on to the next round, and they will be playing. Where is that schedule there? They'll be playing North Carolina FC. That's going to be a tough game.
Carolina FC is a decent club. That's where Antonio Guerrero was on loan for a little bit last year. So,
yeah, North Carolina is a solid team. Again, the USL Championship is growing and solidifying at that level, and hopefully that continues. We already talked about the Burrito Boys again, $50,000 richer this year.
a lot of burritos.
Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty awesome. Hopefully the team spreads that along the players. I know they run a small academy, like 50,000 to a team at that level. That's pretty awesome. We have the AV Alta. Now that game was absolutely awesome. So they sold out.
That was way too late for me.
Oh, did you even see that? Okay, so they sold it out. Again, I think people didn't realize the 2 at the end of that. But it is close enough to LA for that game.
And LAFC supporters clubs come out big for LAFC too.
Yeah, they had their own section. They had the flag. They brought the band, so the music was great. This ended in pandemonium. They basically won on the last kick of the game. They were down 1 most of the game. They came back. They scored. The manager got a red card on the way of him walking around the stadium, because the way their clubhouse is set up, it's like a minor league. You don't just walk into it. You have to walk around the field. On the way around the field, they score again. Manager runs back. Everybody pandemonium. Goal scorer forgot he had a yellow card. Took his shirt off. He got a yellow card. He's out. So they played the last 120 seconds. A man down. They basically parked the bus and they won. It was absolute, and that's how you gain excitement. It is, and they announced the day after that they had sold out their home opener. So AV Alta, it seems like that investment. I think they said they spent $6 million converting that minor league stadium into a soccer specific stadium, and thus far it looked like it's working. That was pandemonium. That was awesome. The red card. I will say that is a note for this round, is that there was a lot of red cards. I don't know if these refs were just, it's a lot of double bookings too, a lot of double yellows. It's like, I don't know if the refs are getting sensitive or players at this level are just getting emotional, but like, none of the games I saw, the red cards were like nasty fouls or anything. It was just, okay, I'm going to give you this yellow, and then later you're going to make a really stupid tackle that was unnecessary. So, yeah, AV Alta, man. I know they're on the West Coast, so you might miss some of their games, but thus far they're hosting Orange County, so I'm expecting another decent crowd for that game on the 15th. So we got to wait 2 weeks for the next round. I mean, so as far as attendance goes, so obviously we can do Charlotte. Chattanooga proved you can sell out a midweek game, but what are the chances that we move these to like Friday night or something where we can get a crowd? What do you think?
Yeah, I would love to see these games to start showing up on the weekends, Friday afternoons, Sunday afternoons, even would be great. Sunday 2 p.m., 3 p.m. games would be really nice. Get kids out, come out to the stadium, and then everybody gets to go home at a reasonable time too. Obviously you don't want to compete with MLS. You don't want to compete too early in the morning because you don't want to. You're going to lose TV eyes to Europe and everything else that goes on. But there's no reason that we can't get a Sunday afternoon schedule going now for this later in the Cup. But we'll see what Paramount and CBS has anything to say about that now that the next round 3 is going to be over on Paramount Plus network, and CBS is going to take over the Go Laszlo show. I believe is going to be running some of these games. So that's going to be.
It's going to be CBS Sports Network, Golazo. Basically, they're just going to put it wherever they have a time slot. And if you have Pluto, which is free, you get that channel. If you have Paramount Plus, you get that channel. So it is available. It's not as closed garden as Apple TV for sure. We already talked about Hearts of Pine. Again, I love that. I'm going to order that kit. The hoops, the green and
which one? Because both of their kits are incredible. Which one? Both of their kits are incredible.
I mean, we'll see what the price. I'm hoping some of them go on sale here soon, but for sure, it's that kit, and that's how you start. I mean, we'll see what Garland does, but I think a lot of these teams, when you're starting, don't use paint as your crest design. Invest, get a graphic designer, do it correctly, right? Even the Pegasus, right? That was this hat I see everywhere, right?
Yep.
People might not even know it's about the women's team. If you get a good marketing early and you can integrate with school districts and stuff like that, you can get a crowd, and they definitely did it right. So USL Garland out here in DFW where we're at, they have, I mean, they're not coming till 27, right? I thought it was 26, but I think they pushed it back.
27 season is when they'll be operational and in the new stadium. However, branding is supposed to be released next month. They're going to be announcing their inaugural kit design, I believe. I don't know if they're doing home and away, but they're supposed to be releasing at least one kit. Their branding guide will be out. Their colors, their logos should all be out. I don't think they're going to be using the Garland moniker. I think they're going to be Dallas because they're going by USL Dallas. But
yeah.
And I don't know how much they can really go towards the local Garland branding because it's extremely close to Trinity's colors.
Yeah.
The official colors of the city of Garland are essentially maroon, gold, and green. So I don't know how much you can do without having that club integrated there. But
yeah, I think they're gonna do what most teams here do, right? No matter what city you actually play in, it's Dallas, right? They just now start putting Arlington.
Well, at least they'll be in Dallas County.
That's true. Yeah, but they just started putting Arlington now when they talk about Cowboy Stadium. For the longest time, they're like, oh, they're playing in Dallas. And they're like, no, they're playing in Arlington. It's almost 500,000 in population. Like it's a city within itself. You don't have to attach it to anything. But we'll see. But that's what I'm saying. The Hearts of Pine, even AV Alta, I like their crest. It's a simple AV crest set, awesome. Green seems to be a color that's going a lot. This I don't know what it is about green, but maybe it's the soccer field you're going with that. But yeah, there's a lot of green going around. Loudoun United, which is a suburb of DC, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
They have a pretty good semi-permanent stadium as well, where they them like Phoenix, they have
That
permanent.
was
I mean, it looks
that was a
great.
good game.
Location's not all that good, but and the attendance was not great again.
That was
But
a
they
great game
knocked
though.
off.
It started out pretty slow, and the first half was a little light on the action side. But first, that they didn't even get a shot on goal until I think the 40th minute, and that was Dream that had that shot. But Virginia Dream were a little bit better, I think, than the scoreline looked. Loudon got too late to pull ahead. But that was a pretty solid game. Yeah, those goals came in 59, 77, and 86 were the last three goals for Loudon. So late action there, but it was a hard fought battle down the stretch. And again, local game, local competitors. Virginia Dream doesn't play far from Loudon County, and so they looked really well. And again, all these local matchups are bringing people together. And you said the attendance there wasn't as great as some of the rest of them, but people that were there were really into it, and so go support your local soccer club.
Yeah, that's
Especially if they're playing a cup game.
Yeah. If you learn anything from this pod or any soccer podcast or any media, right? We all just say, especially at that level where it isn't a TV money or a sponsor issue, almost all their revenue is from butts and seats, right? So if you're going to show up late, let's say you can't make it there, it's a Thursday at 6:30, you get off at 5, you can't make it there on time, show up at halftime. It doesn't really matter. Go out there, have a beer, have a hot dog. Most of even if they don't have concessions, they'll have food trucks. Like they'll make it worth your while to go watch the sport for sure. Virginia Dream, NPSL team. My dream at some point, I see what I did there. My hope at some point is NPSL, and which has been kind of losing teams at this point, merges with USL 2, and we just regionalize it and then do a national, Texas South, and then you basically win your division, move up, and then you win a national thing, which is what NPSL does. I think that's probably we don't need this many we don't need that many semi-pro leagues. Like, to be honest, we just need to organize better, in my opinion. We had the Knoxville, Greenville, which is this North Carolina, right? Greenville, North Carolina? Is that where we're at?
It's Greenville, North Carolina, and Knoxville, Tennessee, which are not terribly far from each other.
Yeah. Double red, Knoxville 3-1. I only saw highlights of this game. The goals were pretty good. It wasn't like any howlers by a goalkeeper or anything. But yeah, the two red cards. I'm thinking, like, just looking at this scoreboard, there's a lot of red cards. I don't know what's going on, but good game. Knoxville moves on. They go to Colorado Springs. So that's a little bit of a travel. The USL Championship champions, which is a mouthful. So they travel for that game. Obviously, we talked first and foremost. Again, if you have time, go to YouTube, rewatch this Chattanooga game. It was absolute pandemonium. I hope both these teams survive, and I hope USL goes and gets Chattanooga to USL 1. If we're really serious about Pro Rel, we got to get rid of territorial rights. So for sure, especially if you're a big enough metro. Now, Chattanooga's metro is only 400,000-ish, right? It's not huge, but both teams can draw 4,000 or 5,000 people easily. So,
fun fact: this little hat over here on the bottom of my screen. This is the Chattanooga Wreckers, the AA side for the Cincinnati Reds that play in Chattanooga. They go by the Lookouts, but for 19 games a year, they play as the Wreckers. So again, bringing it back to what I do for a living.
Small town, man. Small town. And then we have Westchester SC versus New York Freedoms.
New York Pan-Cyprian Freedoms is a very, very, very old club. They've been involved in one form or another with Open Cup for a very long time. I believe they've won several times. They're just an old American club. Unfortunately, they got sent home by their neighbor up in Westchester. So Westchester SC pulled one out on them, and that was a 3-0 halftime advantage that the Freedoms almost came back and battled back late, but could not close it out late, could not get that equalizer late. But that was a pretty decent battle again. I mean, that was a lot of again, I keep repeating myself here, but local football is fun to watch. When teams play near each other, when guys know each other because they play in similar leagues and they played on some of the same teams, and some of these guys might have real jobs too and work together, right? So
Yeah.
these are the type of things you see at this level that makes this game so much fun.
Yeah. And especially the amateurs, they play really hard because this is an opportunity maybe to get on with the USL1 championship side. Is like, hey, I might do this part-time, but if I can get a contract that pays me, you championship salaries like 40-50,000 a year, that is a full-time job, right? And I get to do the thing I love. So you take that all day, every day.
Uh, Penn Cyprian Freedoms are a 3-time U.S. Open Cup champion, by the way.
Yes. Now that was back when it was all amateurs, but yes, it on the record books, it still
counts.
This is the 110th year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so 110. Yeah, so it still counts, but that was long before we had professionals. But I mean, my hope is the way they're setting this up is that they always U.S. soccer seems to always want to put it in a way where a USL team gets to the final. And I'm hoping at some point MLS doesn't win this championship because I think that will make it more of a hey, the underdogs can get their type deal. So I'm all for it. The same way CONCACAF Champion League makes sure Mexico ends up playing an MLS team always. It's kind of annoying the way they do it, but I get the money. FC Naples, solid turnout there. They beat
That was a blowout.
Little Rock 3-0. That Little Rock team, I mean, they were basically played off the grounds. That FC Naples team is solid. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, I think that team. I think this is their first year as well, if I'm not mistaken, for FC Naples. Like, I don't think we understand how much growth is going on at the USL level. I think there's a lot of it, especially with the World Cup coming up. I mean, this is a discussion for another time, but I think a lot of multimillionaires who are like, hey, I can buy 1% of a MLS team, or I can just go, buy my own team, and it won't cost me near as much money. And I love the sport that enough to make that happen.
That's what seems to be the case with a
Yeah.
lot of these guys that are entering into USL ownership right now. They're just guys that they've got money, they love the game, and this is not really a business venture so much as it is a hobby for them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing from. Just take it back to USL Dallas. What I'm seeing from those guys. This is really just a hobby for guys that love the game and want to do well.
Yeah. Here's the thing: multimillionaires want tax write-offs as well, and maybe they don't play at the $100 million level, but $1 million tax write-off also helps. Especially
and if you build a new stadium and build something for the school district as well, that's a good contribution that you can write off too. So go. Yeah. If you're listening to this and you have a few extra $1 million laying around, go ahead and go start a USL club where you live.
Yeah, USL, NPSL. Because here's the thing: if you can find a university or a county or a school district, I would usually go by university level for liquor license reasons. But if you can find a university who has a soccer team, it might, they might be able to come up with $6 or $7 million. Then the county throws something in, and then there you go. You got a small stadium with concessions and stands, and that's all you really need at the end.
So when is DBG going to buy our USL club?
Funny enough, I was actually looking at how much for an NPSL club, and it's still prohibitive. It's like $50,000 a year in order to make that work, and which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's that's more than we should probably invest.
Yeah.
FC Tulsa went up to Madison, which again, I love that crest with the flamingos, which I don't know what flamingos have to do with Madison, Wisconsin, but who cares? We'll make it work. Yeah, they lost 3-1. That game was a little chippy there, but Madison was basically, that game basically went how you thought it would go. USL Championship team playing a USL1 team, and they won handedly. Then we had the MLS All Stars. That game looked dumb. They actually looked their age.
Wait, what'd you call them?
The MLS All Stars.
You mean the broadcast booth All Stars?
I mean, it's MLS All Stars from 2015. Dax McCarty seems to be the fittest one, but he just retired last year, so that's kind of to be expected. Matt Hedges said he's not retired, but after watching this game, you probably should. If you can't handle Union Omaha, I don't think, unless you're coming here to coach. I mean, love you, great career, legend, absolute legend.
We love Matty Hedges. He's a legend here in Dallas. As much as we hated him when he went down to Austin, we loved him when every time he came back up here. He always got a standing ovation, but leave the game before the game leaves you.
That's a fact. He was slow. He actually left. I think he may have been injured, but he left at halftime. It's like, again, it's nothing worse than boxing. There's nothing worse than a boxer. You're like, you should have retired 2 fights ago. And you're like, oh, I got a comeback fight. No, you don't, sir. You need to call it okay.
Andres Zanota, pick up the phone, call Matty Hedges. Let's get him an academy job here. Let's get him coaching the U18s or the U15s, whatever spots open right now. I don't know who's where exactly, but let's get Matty Hedges a job here in the organization and let's make sure he's getting paid.
North Texas, once they move to Mansfield, like give the legend a job, give him his first job. But yeah, Union Omaha, Madison made it. Des Moines made it interesting in the end. What is my man from Kansas City? Drew a penalty like an absolute professional, took the ball on the chest, got in front of a player put his hand on his shoulder, went down like a fold like the deck chairs on the Titanic, earned the penalty, and then they spent the rest of the game basically, peppering Union Omaha, and it could have tied, but they just don't have enough. Like, it's one of them things where like the brain knows what to do, but the body just cannot quite make it work, and that was disappointing. But again, it's a fun thing. Des Moines Menace, I think, is in the process of getting money from the county to build a professional stadium. So I think their plan is to move up to USL1. Their owners owned they owned the Come and Go gas station chain, so they just sold it to somebody for several $1 billion. So that funds is not an issue for them. It's just a matter of whether or not they want to make that happen. So I see them moving up here at the very least to USL1 here in the short term.
Tacoma Defiance, Spokane Velocity. That's again another local battle. That one went to added extra time. Looks like Tacoma opened up with a score in the 3rd minute on that one, and then they went 75 minutes with no scoring, and the final 12 plus minutes, Tacoma hit one off the woodwork and put one in the 99th minute at the death to keep it alive, and Tacoma was able to finish off Spokane eventually in added extra time. But Defiance moves on, and they are 4-1-0 in all time in the Open Cup.
Yeah, Tacoma Defiance. That's the Seattle MLS Next Pro team. Spokane actually, the goal was scored by Lewis Gill, which is a MLS. He's only 31. I don't know how he ended up with the USL1 team. Something went drastically wrong in his career, but good on him for keeping it going. And Spokane gave him a shot. He obviously wanted to stay up there. He played for Salt Lake for the longest time, so he wanted to stay in the country and continue his career, and as a professional, and that was pretty awesome. Then we have the Galaxy 2, which, funny enough, it's not the Galaxy 2. It's
Ventura County FC.
Ventura County, but Google still has Galaxy 2 for some reason. So that's obviously something we need to update. But they played the Locomotives from El Paso, and they lost in spectacular. So
they got locomotived is what happened.
Yeah, for sure. Again, that's what happens. That's what we expect to happen when you have grown professional men playing U19, U20 players. So we'll go over right quick over the 3rd round, which again will be on Paramount Plus, Golasso Network. CBS Sports announced last week that they will be 2-year contract this year and next year, which again, this is part of the benefits of having the World Cup here. You can get commitments for this year and next year, and if you're lucky, maybe 27 from a lot of sponsors. And this is your opportunity, even if you're not at the MLS level, to get sponsorship money by saying, hey, increased eyeballs are going to be on the sport of soccer. So, here are the sponsors we can offer. But so next round, the games
we got the championship leagues, the USL championship teams start coming in this round now. So
16, the 16,
the rest of them at this point.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Louisville City, beautiful stadium. That's a city that obviously, if their owners have the money, but if MLS had half a sense, that's a team you would go after. But again, St. Louis is already in. I don't think Louisville's going to get in. But they built an awesome stadium. Looking forward to that game. we'll see if Columbus Crew 2 can consider their run. Pittsburgh is a good team. I watched them. We have a Carolina Derby in Charlotte and North Carolina FC. That's going to be good. Portland Hearts of Pine is hosting again a new team, Rhode Island. Well, new last year. Rhode Island, they ended up going to the championship game on their first year. So that's pretty awesome. So, they're a solid team. They opened their stadium as well. So they're, solid team. Charleston Battery is going to host South Georgia. I haven't seen anything about Charleston Battery, but that's probably going to be a pretty good game. Union Omaha is going to be hosting San Antonio. So San Antonio's got to travel. San Antonio is an awesome team. Spurs ownership. So they're flush with cash. They're doing it the right way. Then we got the California rivalry here. We got Orange County versus AV Alta. I have a feeling Orange County is going to take care of business. Then we got, I don't know why Tacoma Defiance is hosting. I think this would be an awesome game in the Coliseum. They can
be incredible, and I'm really, I too am upset that Oakland Roots aren't hosting, considering they sold out the Coliseum when the baseball team couldn't do that for 3 years, and they came in
sold out, but 26,000 for a soccer team is pretty. Now the second game was close to 15-ish, but whatever. If they end up averaging 10,000 for the season, we'll call it a massive win on their part.
So keep in mind, the A's last season they averaged about 7,000 a game. So
yes, which will work out great in Sacramento, where the stadium only holds about 12. So for them, good luck with that.
Day 2 of the Cup on Wednesday moves us into round 3. We've got Detroit City hosting Westchester. That's going to be some travel for Westchester, but that's going to be a fun game, I think.
Yeah, Detroit City. As far as non-MLS clubs go, they probably have the most consistent attendance in the country. They show up and show out for sure. Them and Indy rivalry, so that should be a good game. FC Naples and Tampa Bay. That's within
another in-state rivalry game.
Yeah. Naples and Tampa Bay are up the street from each other, right? If I know, that's east, or that's West Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Naples is a little bit further east. Naples is a little bit closer to Orlando, I believe. But it's not a terrible ride.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Tampa St. Pete is north of where Naples ends up being on the map. But yeah, it's a close enough drive that we expect good attendance there for sure. Indy and Miami.
Naples is
Miami.
We're both completely wrong about that. Actually, Naples is way down south of Fort Myers, so they've got to head all the way up to the bay. They're on the bay side of the state, but they've got to go way up to Tampa. So they've got to go through. It's not terribly far, but it is roughly about half the state they've got to cross to get up to Tampa.
Fair enough. Road trip on a weekday road trip.
It's straight up I-75 for them, and straight shot. So it is a local game, and it's probably a game that they could be home in bed for, but afterwards. But they do have some ground to cover.
Yeah, we got Indy 11, Miami FC. That's neither here nor there. Indy 11 is okay. Miami FC, again, in league play is terrible. So this is basically a league game for them. FC Tulsa versus Phoenix Rising. Phoenix is looking solid this year. And then we have the USL Championship champions playing Knoxville, New Mexico United playing El Paso. That's actually Albuquerque to El Paso is not far at all. That's a pretty good trip.
That Colorado Springs Knoxville game, you'll likely see Herbert Endeley, who is out on loan from FC Dallas over at Colorado Springs now. So if you're a FC Dallas fan, want to tune in and see where our loans are at, go check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, that's I like North Texas SC, but again, if you want a player to develop, you got to send them to go play grown men. Burrito Boys, they're gonna play the Sacramento Republic, and I expect that to be a
pandemonium.
Yeah. Love the Burrito Boys, but I think that might be boxing a little bit above their weight class there. And then, least but not last, we have the Las Vegas Lights, the Chattanooga Red Wolves. So that will round out round 3, right? Correct. Yep. And again, you can find any of these games on Golasso Sports Network. They're actually a part of the contract is that they will have pregame and halftime in some of these games. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Wraparound show. So yeah, if you can catch any of these, it's going to be awesome. Support local soccer, support your local brewers. U.S. Soccer is pumping money into this. Viewership numbers are up over last year. Attendance is up over last year, and I foresee that continuing. MLS clubs, yes, the actual MLS clubs will be joining next round in round 4. I don't see.
We're hosting one of those games, I believe.
Well, they haven't announced who has they'll announce, I think, next week who is designated as a host. But we will probably get New Mexico, whoever wins New Mexico, El Paso, even though Tulsa's closer. I don't know why that is, but whatever.
Well, because they're going to want Eric Quill to go play against his former club.
Team.
That's what they're going to want.
Yeah, so whoever it is, we'll probably get that. But again, I'm hoping next round the MLS clubs travel. Like I would love to see Hearts of Pine, New England playing Hearts of Pine, or New England playing Rhode Island. That'd be pretty awesome. If Louisville win, I want them to host St. Louis. Like that's the type of thing I'm looking forward to for the Giant Killers for sure. It will get a little more. Well, I wouldn't say. I was going to say it would get a little bit more complicated if the MLS has to play like the Crew 2 or whatever. But I think the way the schedule is worked out, it won't actually happen that way. But again, Open Cup 2025 is looking pretty awesome. There are no more. Well,
you could end up with a Crew 2 playing another MLS side. Like you won't get Crew versus Crew 2 because Crew aren't in the tournament.
Yeah.
But
that's what I thought was going to happen, and I'm like, because but yeah. So I think all the only one amateur team is left, and I think that's probably the end of the road for them. But again, they have the quality that nothing is a given. So if I'm the Republic, you got to show up and play, put that game away early, because if you leave it late, they have enough in the tank to definitely sneak one past you in the 80th minute and then park the bus. So yeah, but yeah, no. So that's Open Cup round 2, and Open Cup round 3 is coming up. So everyone tune in, and we will next week we will have a pod here with Dennis and Hubert. And you might get some content from me in Japan at a J League game. So looking forward to that. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. Support us on Spotify, YouTube. We actually hit 101 subscribers on YouTube. So, ding,
let's
ding.
go.
We appreciate that from you guys. Dennis, go ahead and lead us out.
Yeah, you'll find us at Community Beer this week. You can pick up your 2025 Dallas Beer Guardians kit at Community Beer for our watch party for FC Dallas at Atlanta United this week. If you're not able to make it this week, you can go ahead and catch up with us at our next home tailgate next week when Seattle comes to town and we beat the crap out of Jesus Ferreira and hopefully make him slink off and he can come and shake our hands afterwards. But I want to see him slink off the field like he did the last time he played here. That being said, we've got tailgate action coming up in 2 weeks, and then we've got a good string of road games. So we will be over at our sponsors community for a lot of those. And if you're up north in Frisco, check out Derbyshire. They've got a great little watch party where we've been up there as well. Lots of general stuff happening. Again, check out social media at Dallas Guardians. Instagram, Meta, Threads, Facebook, X. We're on Reddit. If you're a Guardians member, you can join our Discord. And that's about it. We will see you next week.
Peace.